people of South Africa, you, the eminent persons who I wrote to each of you and you agreed to be part of this, are indeed a group of eminent South Africans. You are by no far the only ones. There are many other eminent South Africans in there. All South Africans are eminent. Yours is not working. So what do you want to do? Over the course of the last 31 years, our country has made the values and the precepts and the rights contained in our democratic constitution also have an active civil society. A civil society and a media that is going to actively participate in the work of the national dialogue. We've made significant advances in expanding opportunities and access to South Africans in a number of ways, in matters that affect their lives. And we may not have addressed all the needs, but a foundation has been built. And a lot of progress has also been made in areas such as provision of their health, basic services, housing, and education, and many other areas. There can be no doubt that we have begun to transform our society and our country, and indeed our economy as well. And yet, much as we have done all this, vestiges of our apartheid past remain. The shadow of apartheid still continues to cast its own shadow on our present and our future. Inequality, poverty, unemployment, violence, and social discord affect the lives of millions of South Africans and hold back our country's progress. Our economy has not been growing, and the numbers of unemployed people has been rising. In many areas, we have seen a deterioration in governance, a decline in the delivery of services, and widespread corruption and the wastage of public resources. At the same time, we have seen an increasing disengagement by many people from the democratic process, as witnessed by the turnout of people who did not vote in the May 2024 elections. The national dialogue, therefore, is an opportunity to mobilize South Africans to address these challenges and restore our country to the path of transformation, of development and progress. It should be seen as an opportunity to build on the achievements of the last 3 decades by defining a shared vision and a common program to take our country forward. The national dialogue draws on a rich tradition of discussion, debate, and united action. In fact, we can safely and confidently say that dialoguing is not a new phenomenon to South Africans. We've held a number of dialogues, and many of those, if not all, have been truly positive or have yielded positive results. The latest one we held was when we drafted our constitution. We had a national dialogue which involved hundreds of thousands of our people and had to deal with millions of documents and suggestions that were proposed and submitted. That in itself ended up with a very good product, a compact, which constitutes our constitution today. At critical moments in our history, we have come together as a people to confront our difficulties and find solutions to our problems. From the Freedom Charter to the drafting of our constitution, as I said, from the National Peace Accord to our response to the devastating COVID pandemic, South Africans have always pursued dialogue, cooperation, and partnership. What is our strength? Is our diversity. We are a diverse people with different cultures, languages, political traditions, and viewpoints. While this diversity makes for robust and often noisy debate, it does mean that we have a wealth of experience and perspectives on which to draw lessons. The national dialogue seeks to provide a platform for this richness of ideas to be brought to bear on the challenges that we face. The national dialogue does not and is not aimed at displacing the democratic processes mandated by our Constitution. Its outcomes cannot supersede the electoral mandates that the parties that contested for elections and were finally elected into our parliament carry, as well as cannot supersede the mandates of the executive of the nation. But it can deliver a social compact that outlines clear commitments and responsibilities for different stakeholders, for government, for political parties themselves, for business, for labor, for civil society, as it manifests itself in many, many divisions. It could be religious, it could be sports, it could be cultural, it could be all manner of divisions of civil society. And it can also do so for individual citizens of South Africa. The task that we have is to ensure that the outcomes of the national dialogue can be institutionalized in a manner that informs and guides the direction that our country can take. We have been clear that this dialogue must be as inclusive as possible. It cannot be partisan. It cannot favor one group or perspective over another. It needs to be citizen-led, and the outcomes need to reflect the collective views of the people of South Africa. While the head of state has a constitutional mandate to convene the national dialogue, and while government should use its capacity and resources to support and facilitate this process, the national dialogue is neither government-driven nor directed. Citizens must be able to freely and fully participate in the national dialogue as individuals, in their organized formations, and through representative bodies. That is why the Eminent Persons Group is so eminently important. It brings together prominent and respected South Africans from across society, from many fields of endeavor and experiences as well. As eminent, you are not being asked to represent any particular constituency or organization. Rather, you are being called upon to use your experience, your acumen, your knowledge, and your energy to give South Africans confidence that participation in the national dialogue can help to advance their interests and secure their future. We are asking you as eminent persons to be the champions of the national dialogue, not cheerleaders. We expect that you will critically consider the progress and the conduct of the national dialogue and provide advice where correction is required. If there are people being left out, we ask that you raise it. If there is confusion or misunderstanding or disarray, we ask that you help correct it. If there are groups that seek to commandeer the process, we ask that you alert us. We expect that the national dialogue process will be contested. Country is contested, that it may be used to score political points or to advance particular interests. We should not be surprised if there is skepticism or disinterest from some quarters of South African society about the national dialogue. We have already been confronted by the challenge of misinformation and misrepresentation, whether on what is perceived as the high cost of the national dialogue or on who is running it. But that should not distract us from the work that we have to do, to give a platform to be heard, and so that they may be counted. What I do know for a fact about South Africans is that they want to be heard. They want to participate. They want to be included in whatever process that is meant to direct their lives, to improve their lives, or to take their lives forward. We should therefore not fear criticism. In fact, we should welcome it. Criticism, in the end, is a signal that South Africans care about the country and are heavily invested in its future. Most critics want a national dialogue that is effective and inclusive, and we should give them that. This eminent persons group should be ensuring that we give South Africans that which they want: effectiveness and inclusivity. Dissenting voices make the debate richer and should make the outcomes more robust and more meaningful. We should therefore not fear those who are dissenters. This meeting marks the start of the work of the Eminent Persons Group, work that promises to be both challenging and rewarding. As the Eminent Persons Group comes to understand its own role and set out its tasks, we must recognize and appreciate the long road and the hard work that has brought us to this point. Since a number of people have made calls for a national dialogue, and these have ranged from our religious organizations. I specifically remember when the South African Council of Churches said that we need to have a national dialogue. A number of other business people also said so. And the message was articulated more strongly by former President Thabo Mbeki in April last year. This call has been taken up by our people and formations from across society. The convening of a national dialogue was endorsed by myself as the President of the Republic, and it has been endorsed by 10 political parties that constitute the Government of National Unity in their statement of intent, and is incorporated in the government's medium-term development plan. Over the course of several months, the group of foundations named for eminent stalwarts, working together with a number of civil society organizations, took an initiative to start advocating and mobilizing for the national dialogue. This work has been fundamental to the conceptualization and the design of the national dialogue as we have it today. It now finds organizational expression in the preparatory team, which brings together the foundations and civil society formations and the presidency. And in the presidency, in terms of the workings thereof, as led by the Deputy President. And this has led to the making of the practical arrangements for the first National Convention, which we would like to be held in August. Today's meeting is an opportunity for the eminent persons, yourselves, to be briefed more fully on the national dialogue, on the role of the Eminent Persons Group, and on the preparations that are being made as we speak for the first National Convention. Importantly, it is an opportunity for the Eminent Persons Group to ask questions and to share their reflections on the national dialogue. After each one of you will have been given an opportunity to introduce yourself so that everybody in this zoo gets to know who is who in the zoo. Once again, allow me to take this opportunity with my faltering voice to welcome you to this meeting, and I truly thank you for agreeing to take on this very important responsibility as eminent South Africans, people who are recognized, who are respected, and who are upheld by millions of our people across the board. You are a collective that brings together young and old, that brings together men and women, that has sought to bring together people from various regions of our country that has also sought to bring together various persuasions, professions, careers, and endeavors. This, I believe, is a diverse group, and a diverse group that is going to give real value to the work that we have to do. Your job, therefore, is to be the champions of the national dialogue and, in a way, to be the guarantors of the work that is going to come out of the national dialogue. With those words, I welcome you and thank you for having agreed to take on this job. I would now like, as my voice continues to falter, to hand over to the Deputy President to then steer this meeting and go to the next item. DP.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and we wish you speedy recovery. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome all the eminent persons here present, ministers and DGs, and government officials, and also members of the media and other participants. You all welcome. In terms of our agenda, we have to now go to introductions. I'm told I have to do this in 10 minutes, so you can understand how long you should take introducing yourself. So let's try that. Let's start on my left with Sis Barbara. And I'm going to go right round. Sis Barbara?
Now that you've finished hugging the DP.
Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Barbara Masekela, and has been really hit by the press because we are old. I didn't know there was so much ageism in South Africa, but I think that it's a great honor to be part of the national dialogue. And I think I just want to say one thing, which is that if you look at our constitution, there's a recurrent theme. Our whole constitution is constructed to return our people to dignity, because we were stripped of our dignity. And I see the national dialogue in all its aspects as a serious attempt to fulfill our constitution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Deputy President. Good morning, members of the National Dialogue. Eminent persons group. I am Maolo Kubai, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Deputy President, eminent persons responsible for the national dialogue. My name is Komuzo Chabe. I'm the Minister in the Presidency and the member of the ANC.
Thank you.
Good morning, President, eminent persons, good morning, and members of the ANC. I suspect
No stress. What did you say?
This is suspecting why he's here.
Oh, okay.
He's not an eminent person.
Morning, President, Deputy President, eminent persons, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pastor, Minister of Trade, Industry and Communities.
Good morning, Mr. President, good morning, eminent persons, and everyone else. My name is Muyala, and I'm the first Black woman who has won the South Africa. And thank you so much for this opportunity to help drive this national dialogue. I really appreciate it, and I'm really honored. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, ministers, who are here at this IMC, as well as the eminent person. I am not an eminent person, Mr. President. I am simply a volunteer from civil society who has also been tasked to lead the preparatory task team. My name is Bosman.
Awuyichongo kakuhle. Unkosi nathi biko.
Misani madoda, inkosi nathi. Madam President, President, Ministers, eminent persons, and Minister Pokemon, I'm the Executive Director of this conference.
Good morning, Mr. President, Deputy President, Ministers, and eminent persons. My name is Malika Church. I'm part of the preparation task team.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, President, Ministers, colleagues. I'm using President out of the PTT.
Good morning, President, Deputy President, Ministers, and eminent persons. I'm Domenico, part of the PTT from the Presidency.
Good morning, President, Deputy President, Ministers, eminent persons. I'm from the Presidency and a member of the PTT in South Africa.
I didn't say your name.
Persons, my name is Cyril Ramaphosa, and I represent the presidency on the preparatory task.
Good morning, Mr. President, Deputy President, Ministers present here, and members of the eminent group persons. I am Civil Sister Bilani. I was saying that when I was looking at the list, I wasn't surprised, but I asked the question as well as I, as eminent as everyone else in this, when I got the invitation, it was a clear call, and when the call came, I said, well, I think there's a mistake. I don't think I'm thinking as the eminent person, and the person I was talking to says, well, the president believes in us. So I acknowledge his appreciation and invitation, Mr. President. But this morning, because I live very far, I woke up and I thought, what if people ask you to prove that you got the invitation by the president? And I thought, well, you dare not leave the house unless you printed the invitation letter. So, Mr. President, I printed the letter if you want to make sure that I am invited to be here. So, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
We'll frame it for you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Deputy President, Ministers, persons. My name is Samuel Mzikiza. I'm an entrepreneur and innovator and a champion of the annual interpretation of the answer. Yes.
There's a planet in the solar system named after that young man. The whole planet. So if Elon Musk was here, he would take us
I had to work in the ministry, in the presidency. It's very important. Minister Chikuma always says it's very important that we emphasize that we're in the presidency, that the ministry and the presidency is responsible for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. I have to say it here, I am not a student leader, as per the announcement that was made. I'm a former student leader. And this is very important because we will not move from the grave. I'm not an ancestor who's going to hog the space of young people. So that's very important. And I have the pressure alongside Mia, and I think alongside Sia as well, to represent the millions of young South Africans who are unemployed, who are not yet in employment, education, or training. And it's, I think we're 3 young people under the age of 35 on this eminent persons group. So Uma earlier on was saying that ageism is a real thing. We also have the pressures of the, as young people, as the 3 young people on the group, to represent these millions of young people who have different reasons why we're not part of this group. So I said to not be groundless enough. I'm not sure what being groundless enough is, but President, our interest here will really be to ensure that many young voices of young people across the country are heard on this platform, regardless of whether or not it's Mia, it's Mabini, or it's Sia. Thank you so much, President.
Thank you.
I'm the Namshobe, I'm the director of the Namasibo Arts and Heritage Trust. Once upon a time, I was shocked out of my head when I was invited. I'm one of those people who are on the hierarchy when you look at the creative arts. And I never thought in my lifetime I would think of oral literature, writing for children, or caring about the languages of my country would be something that would put me at the bottom of the hierarchy. So I'm shocked, pleasantly surprised, Mr. President, Deputy President, ministers, and members of this eminent people's group. I hope that our stories, especially history telling, shall matter in my lifetime.
Thank you.
Good morning, President and Deputy President and Ministers, and fellow members of the EPG. President, it's a wonderful opportunity and privilege to be here. I worked with you in the past in another national dialogue, and which you referred to, and it's a privilege to just be back here. But I think there's a very special task on our shoulders, all of us as South Africans, and that is to do a reset. Maybe something that we didn't complete 30 years ago. A reset to ensure that we this time look after the implementation of all the good intentions. It's embodied in the Constitution, in Chapter 2 in particular, but we have not fulfilled those aspirations. I think this national dialogue can actually deliver that opportunity. So I like the idea of an outcome that specifies a social compact and the implementation of such a compact. Thank you very much. I forgot. I'm close by
Good morning, Honourable President, Honourable Deputy President, Honourable Ministers, fellow members of the Eminent Persons Group, and leaders of the foundations and for eminent South African leaders. My name is Cyril Ramaphosa. I am a former member of Parliament and leader of opposition, and the founder of Future Elect, an organization that supports young
instances of social dialogue throughout that line. Not all of them successful, but I would reflect on three that seem to me to be both successful and instructive for our purposes. The first is the complete reconstruction of labour relations in the 70s and 80s that actually empowered black workers through their own organisations to become co-authors of their destinies in the workplace. The second is the National Peace Accord. This is a document that we've forgotten. And I would just urge people to remember how gloomy South Africa was in April 1993, and to recall the conference called by President de Klerk, condemning violence and intimidation. And now we moved from April in 1993 to a 42-page peace accord on September the 14th, signed by everybody at the Carlton Hotel. And the last is the agreement to institute a national minimum wage, which I think is the finest achievement of Netherlands throughout its existence. So these are examples of dialogue that results in deeds that survive over time. I would echo my colleague Rolf in the emphasis on the need for not only words, but words that turn into deeds. Otherwise, I think the cynicism of our people will even deepen from what its current levels are.
Mr. President, Deputy President, the Minister, and the eminent persons around the room, it's very uncommon for me to introduce myself. I really don't know what to say about myself, except that I'm an actor, playwright, a director, a champion of social justice, and a truth teller. I am so honored to be here because I write stories and interpret around the world about what the hell's going on there. I wish we'd walk up here, Mr. President, with a new story to tell. Just for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Carney.
His Excellency, good morning, Mr. President, and all eminent persons. I'm the founder, my father was the founder of St. Agnes Christian Church in 1924. And the important thing, he found the church through God, to tell you the truth. No one can say something about how he prayed for Bishop, the founder of the church, Saint Agnes himself. No one can say that. But all the what we call when things happen, miracles and everything, there was a lot of miracles there. But now, important thing is in South Africa is to believe in themselves and their way of life, and that Christianity embrace their culture that is not in conflict with the Holy Bible. President, I want to say something about ANC. ANC, something, John Cole, the founder, Agnes and my father also, Joseph Khanyani. I'm the third bishop even 100 years now. The founder, all the people Baba studied, the people who studied the ANC, it's like the Maoshi and the people like the teachers, 1930 something. People, the black people, they look at this ANC and they decided to start something that can bring the black people together. And other thing is not to kill each other. When what you call it, the people, like the Maoshi and the people like the Indona, that time, like in 1960s, or I mean, before 100 years, when you fight with somebody, you must go to the river. And the chief, they bring that man, and they bring also that, what you call, other one. And they said to them, you want to fight, you want to kill this man? And the people, they said, yes, I want to kill him because he took my wife. I love my wife, and he stole my wife. Then they go to the river, and that person must come with something here, like food, you know, food. And they put it here. And the witch doctor, they must do something. He wants to beat that man. Then he must have the power from that body. And they take them to the river, and lots of people come like this. When they come, they start fighting. If somebody wins there, then that's what he can take the ship. Now, ANC, before that, I'm going to just ANC, people who started the ANC, by the time of ANC even on. Then after ANC even on, then you got a central for the Hoshi, moving one of their companies. Hoshi, it comes from and it's a chapa, it's a compound Hoshi. In case I do not right care of become over cautious number of us, how we will have and one we lose the winner, but then other things over we are over, we are parliament, our parliament was happened, the central president parliament thing, to compare parliament, come shut of hope, that come shut of hope. That Hoshi was you become shut of hope. If the account shut off the system to start with no fact. Then we are in a new situation here, parliament then we send up parliament. We must love each other. Then we move. What do you say? Africa. Our Africa. We tell them Africa because Nana Mazulu, Machak and Kingdom. But then to know that Africa, the African, come to Africa. The whole baby, you don't have any outside November or in Africa. In the church, our church is growing because religion, but Africa, we are African. Therefore, I know about Botswana, and I'm about Mozambique all over. I'm the bishop of the St. Helena Protestant Church. This is Bishop Dr. Eminent. Now, the people of South Africa have honor in a baby, then from there, Mandela started a new policy the past being even Mandela from Mandela. It is powerful. Not to say, Mandela does something and
a writer, and most importantly, an activist. Watching the debate around the composition of the eminent persons group has been quite fascinating for me. I remember the time when I represented young people, almost always the youngest persons in the room, raising and fighting and shouting and arguing about the same issues that I still do. I am now kind of like a departure lounge, but I'm still very much exercised by a number of issues. In particular, the unfinished business that Mr. Whitmer referred to. As a feminist, and as somebody who has been working for the last 20 years on the parts of the Constitution, Section 25 of the Constitution, which is actually much more uncomfortable than the rhetoric about expropriation without compensation. I work in particular with issues and areas and communities that are affected by whose rights are supposed to be protected by Section 25(6) of the Constitution. These are people who live in former homelands, in former barristers. These are people who live in mining host communities. These are people for whom there is not a single piece of legislation that is permanent in this country that recognizes the rights that are protected in Section 25(6). Instead, there's the PIRA, which is an informal piece of legislation, which is always used. So I don't represent them. I work with those communities, I activist with those communities, and I'm hoping one of the things I did was quickly jump and look at the categories, those categories that are being represented. So I'm here in many ways to help assist with the fight and to open space and talk about these incredibly uncomfortable issues in our country and try and figure out how we resolve this unfinished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, the president is absent of the president. I'm trying to help in terms of time. I know that it's very difficult, but we'll try to be successful. To discuss my colleagues here, eminent persons group, want to be working together
Who is that? This side. Yeah, your mic.
Mr. President, Deputy President, Ministers, members of the AFGA Executive. My name is Nobun Sigisi from London, and I am the member of the AFGA. I'm honored.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, Deputy President, honorable ministers, and persons group, colleagues,
very much. I'm told there are some people who have joined us online, two ministers and four eminent persons. So I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. I'll start with Desiree because she's about to leave to introduce herself. Then I'll go to the rest. Desiree. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, Desiree has left. Okay, so let me go to the other three. Archbishop Makova is there. No? Oh, he can't hear us. Is he there? Arch, are you there? Arch, you're muted. There he is. Okay, can the technicians help? There's no sound. Oh. Okay. Is Ella there, Gandhi? Is it affecting all of them? Okay. Is Ella there? Okay. Is Robbie there? No sound still. Okay. All right. Let me just tell you who's there. The two ministers is Maropeni Ramaphosa, Minister in the Presidency, dealing with monitoring and evaluation. Sisi Dolashe, Minister of Social Development, is also there. And of course the EPG, Archbishop Makova, Desiree Ellis, Ella Gandhi, and Robbie Brosen. Okay, we'll have to pass since technology is not in our favor this morning then. What we're going to do now is to allow you a 10 minutes break. And when we come back, I'll ask Tate Biko to do an overview of the national dialogue. So, Kosinat, if you can be ready after tea. Please check your time. 10 minutes exactly, must all be back seated. Thank you very much. Of the media, you may take leave. Thank you very much.